Welcome to Inferior Gaming, where we are used to failure. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Alan.
And have you been playing anything new this week? I don't think so. I didn't mention it.
I did start playing Hollow Knight Silk Song, which is
Oh, you did?
brand new. Yeah.
I enjoyed that you say that with a question mark, as though everyone listening doesn't know what it is.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's a huge indie release this year. I never played Hollow Knight. I don't care for that genre. The kind of Metroidvania. Like, it's fine. I'm not like we should lock these people up or anything, but it's just, I'm tired of it. But my kid has been really, really into the Silk Song thing. She did not play Hollow Knight, and she has this thing of she wants to play the game, and she won't play it unless I play it first, and then she watches me be bad at it, and then goes in and does better than me, and is like, look how much better I did than you. That's like her whole thing. So she kind of made me play Silk Song. I beat, I don't know, 2 or 3 bosses, and that's all I played of it. It's a good one of those. Of course, people love it. So
if that isn't the perfect sum up of our show,
yeah,
we're here to be bad, so you don't have to be.
Yeah, it really is. Like, yeah, she got into Elden Ring really big because she watched me. She was like, "Why don't you dodge? Why don't you?" And I'm like, "I'm trying." And then she played, and she's much, much better than me at that game. So nice. I also purchased I don't know what to call it. It's like the Avatar movies. There's like an Avatar game that came out not too long ago.
Okay.
And I bought that. I've been watching it. It's an Ubisoft game, so I knew that it would plummet in price eventually, and it's like down to like $15 or something. So I bought that, and I played the beginning of it, and I'm excited to get into it. It looks really good. I like the story. I like the Avatar world. I know it's not popular with people who have my kind of politics, but I really, really like that story. And so I thought it was good so far. So
I also bought a video game. I bought it yesterday. I've had it on my Steam wish list for a while, but it's old, and it was like $12.99 Canadian, and I was like, this is a 30-year-old game. Or not 30, but it's old. I'm not paying that. And it's been on sale for $5, and I was like, that's what I wanted to pay.
Thank you go. Yeah.
Anyways, so now I have the opportunity to play what I'm pretty sure is my first ever movie tie-in game, Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the original KOTOR?
Yeah.
Man, okay.
I am going to mod it.
Good. Because it's, that's good. That's the choice.
And speaking of BioWare and mods, I randomly decided because, I'm in this like holding mode now because I don't really have anything. I'm also not a platformer, so Silksong, Hollow Knight I don't do that sort of stuff. It's just not for me. I'm happy for everybody else to have a good time. It is very pretty, I will say that.
Yeah. There's all kinds of delightful, charming things about it.
Yeah, great. I'm sure it's great. It's just not my type of thing. So I'm pretty much just waiting for Final Fantasy Tactics at the end of the month.
Right.
So instead of starting something new, I decided to start a heavily modded nightmare run on Dragon Age Veilguard.
Okay.
And I have been having a great time, honestly. I'm like skipping over most of the dialogue, so I'm just doing the gameplay, which is what's really good about that game. And because I've modded it, my character is mostly in this pretty dress with pink hair, and I have her be a Morn Watcher. So she's from like the dark, gloomy place, and I was like, let's just make her look young and pink, because why not? Yeah. And then she can romance the old man, and it's funny. I don't know.
What do you mean by nightmare run? Like, is it like, are you talking about like the difficulty is cranked up?
Yes, I put it on nightmare.
I got you. Okay.
I've only had to redo one fight.
Nice. Yeah. I
do use my companion's heal a lot, and I'm reminded about what I hate most about that game, and that's like only Rook has health, which means you always have aggro. Right. And in every game where you have a choice, I play a mage in the background, Right. I don't do that's how I like to play. I like to shoot from afar. I do not like to be all up in their business. But you don't really have a choice in Veilguard, and I do hate that.
That is the hardest thing about the combat in that game, is that no matter what, you are the center of the enemy's attention. It feels wrong somehow.
I will say it's different, you know? So that's interesting that they kind of tried something different there, and it makes it smooth. You don't have to worry about your companions dying.
Yeah, I'm not against it. It's just like, it's just when you play it, you're like, oh, wait a minute, it's doing this. That's weird.
Oh yeah, it took me a while to figure it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The first time I played, I was like, I don't have to heal my companions. And then eventually I was like, why are you always trying to hit me? What is happening? Yeah. And then I did figure it out. But yeah, anyways, I'm having a great time.
That's good.
It's a much better game when you don't have expectations for it. And you can mod in.
Always true.
All the outfits in that game are strangely pastels.
Yeah.
And so when you can mod out all the pastels that make no fucking sense.
A lot of the costumes in that are really weird.
Like, how do the Morn Watchers and the Crows not have black?
Right, yeah.
Why is the darkest colored navy? What is happening in this game?
I do like how colorful that game is and how saturated.
That's fair. It is very pretty.
Yeah. That's a thing that I feel like we've been getting away from in the last 5 years, especially HDR displays and stuff. There's a lot of like, you know, beigey kind of looking stuff in media. And so it was nice to play something where like the greens and reds are really popping. But yeah, I get you, because I was like, wow, these are some real choices that I feel like come out of nowhere in a world that I feel pretty familiar with. All of a sudden, fashion took a left turn.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the north of Thetis instead of the south of Thetis, so maybe they're just really into pastels up there when they were only into earth tones in the south.
Right, yeah, in the south. That's funny.
But
yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm having a great time. So this week's topic I chose, and I thought we could talk about our favorite games over the last 2.5 decades, because it gives us a chance to just talk about a lot of games and get into some light nitty gritty and give our hopefully new listeners a taste of what we like in games and, you know, what our experience of games has been. And
it'll give like a really good timeline of all of the Call of Duty universe. And yeah,
absolutely. I've played that game. Never.
Yeah, me neither. I couldn't tell you how many are in there.
I don't even know. Is it on consoles? Is it PC?
It's everywhere it could be.
It's
probably on your phone.
Man. Yeah.
You could play it on a refrigerator. Yeah.
Let's dive into it, because I'm sure we have honorable mentions, and then we have the games that affect the game singular, I guess, that affected us the most. And we're going to go from 2000 to 2009 first. And my disclaimer about this decade is that I was so poor.
Me too. So, yeah. I think I was literally homeless in this decade. So like
I was like high school, and then there was a bit of time where I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Well, I still don't, but you know. So I didn't go to college right away.
Yeah, you got that figured out, right?
Yeah. So I didn't go to college right away, and work was like, maybe, you know, I was so shy and like socially anxious that I bombed every job interview, you know, and then I was a college student. And then, so my list for the 2000s is real small. So honorable mentions. I put Dragon Age Origins because I played it in the 2010s, but it came out in 2008, I think.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Honorable, 2009. I wrote it down.
Right at the end, yeah.
So I put that there as an honorable mention. If I'd played it then, it would probably be my number one. Because that game is what got me into Western RPGs and convinced me that I don't just like JRPGs.
Did you... So remind me, did that come out on PS2 or PS3? I played it on Xbox, so
I played it on PS3.
Okay.
It was originally PC only, and then they adapted it for consoles. And having played the PC version since, is very different.
It is pretty different, yeah.
And in fact, like the first time I played the PC version, I had never played like a CRPG on PC. And so I did not know what I was doing. I was like, what do you mean I don't have to keep pushing attack? You just choose a target while I was like just trying to attack, like, because you can't use a controller.
Like, why is line of sight matter all of a sudden?
Yeah. It's very different. And I wish I had realized how different it was going to be, because things would have gone smoother for me. But yeah, no, I played it on PS3.
Interesting.
So then my other backups are Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
Which were heavily influential. I fucking love 1 and 2. I honestly think 1 and then Chain of Memories and then 2. In my mind, the series ends there. Like, that is a great ending, the end of 2.
Yeah, I agree with, it is a great ending.
Like, everyone's good, and then you get that letter
I
at
don't
the
know
end
about
because,
that.
well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The main characters are good, and you get that letter at the end implying that you have more adventures. And I'm like, that's a great place to end it.
Mm-hmm.
3 was a disaster mess.
Well, it's just drawing in, it's just assuming that you played a lot of other stuff that came after that second game.
Which, I will say credit to them. They did make them very accessible by like tacking them on to all the other games. Like if you buy the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 now, generally speaking, they're going to come with all the side games.
Yeah, you can play like everything.
But
for the most part.
Side games are super boring.
Some of them,
I could not get into them.
Chain of Memories is so good too.
Chain of Memories is good.
I did play Chain of Memories like this.
So I just don't care about those characters, and Kingdom Hearts 3 really cared about those characters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like the lore characters. Speaking of, I was homeless in this period, so I remember like I moved in, I like went back home kind of thing, moved in with my mom and my stepdad, and Kingdom Hearts came out, and I had 2 jobs. I kind of had 3 jobs because I was just trying to get back on my feet financially. So I was just working as much as possible and saving money. And I went and spent some of my money to go get Kingdom Hearts. And I remember walking in the house and I had it in my hand, and my stepdad saw it, and he got this like look of rage on his face that I would do anything nice for myself, when I was in this situation that I was in. And that was a moment where I was like, I have to move out. I have to get out of this whole situation. So Kingdom Hearts, to me, whenever I think of Kingdom Hearts, I think of how I was like, I need to regain my independence and get out. That's what I associate that game with.
And then I had a game on my honorable mentions, but you have it as your number 1. So I'm going to not talk about it till we get to yours.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that way it actually doesn't give away what my number 1 is, because it would.
Okay.
And so my last honorable mention is, you would never guess this game in a million years. You probably don't know that I ever played it, but it was huge in my life.
Leisure Suit Larry. It's
no. You're on the right track, honestly.
Oh no. Okay.
It is Guitar Hero 3.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I love the Guitar Hero. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them too. We just never talk about. Well, what's there to talk about? But that was when I was 19 to 23-ish. That every Friday night I was in my friend's basement. We were drinking and playing Guitar Hero,
Well, that was the prime time for that whole scene. Yeah. Yeah.
So that came out in 2007, and I would have been math. How old was I in 2007?
You were like 7.
Oh,
right?
I was 22. Yeah. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's timing. When we would have done that. And we got really good at it. And I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I think rhythm games are fun. I wish there was more of them nowadays.
See, I don't have rhythm.
Okay.
In any way, shape, or form. I could only do it on the visual cues.
Mm-hmm.
So I was never going to be great at it. You know what I mean? Because to be great at it, you have to be able to hear it and do it before you see it.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't do the hard stuff. Like that's, what this podcast is. Like it was not easy. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But it was fun.
I'm genuinely like embarrassed about how anti-rhythm I am. I don't talk about it very often, but like if I'm at a concert and people are like clapping along, I don't. Because I will get off beat. And if I'm on beat, that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not listening to the music. I'm just paying attention.
Right. Like watching somebody else's hands.
Yeah. So that's me. And I was in high school band.
Uh-huh.
But I kind of just coasted in the background there. Anyways, let's do your honorable mentions and we can do our number ones at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I only put one honorable mention here. I mean, this is a big chunk of time. I think KOTOR came out during this time too.
Oh yeah, because it was before Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, and I had the original Xbox, which kind of set my gaming path somewhat. Because when the PS3 came out, I refused to buy one out of a sense of anger. I think like Kaz Hirai came out, the CEO of PlayStation, I think, and at Sony, and he was like the price was like very, very high for a PS3, and he was like, you're gonna get a part-time job and you're gonna love it, and to buy this console. And I was like, well, then I'm done. I will not do that.
That's interesting because we were such a PlayStation household. I mean, we weren't a household at that point, which I'm going to talk about when I talk about my number one. Yeah. But you know, like I'd only like we had the PS1 and then we had the PS2, and so when Xbox came out, I was literally like, "Ew, who would do that?"
Yeah,
you know,
it was given to me as a gift because I definitely did not have the money to get one, and I had sold all of my gaming consoles actually, and I was like, I'm just gonna get out of this hobby.
Yeah, that's fair.
Completely, because it was like I don't have the money for it. It's taking up a lot of my time, and I was like, I'm also gonna move across the country because I made this thing where I was like getting close to being done with college, but it was really exhausting me. I had multiple jobs. And I was a full-time student. My personal life was like my romantic entanglements were getting complicated and exhausting. And I just I ran away basically, which ended up being really bad for me because I ended up being homeless. Right. So when I did all that, my mom that Christmas gave me an Xbox as a gift because this was like the hot new thing. And I was like, fuck, I'm back in. Like I was like, I thought I'm out, but I'm back in.
Nice.
And KOTOR was a exclusive originally on.
It was probably PC first, or I don't know. I've never looked at it.
I don't think that's right. I think it was an exclusive for the Xbox. I think it was starting to develop for the PC, and then they convinced, like Microsoft convinced them to make it. Because it plays like a PC. You'll see when you play it. It plays very PC game of that time. Anyway, I played that a lot because there wasn't a whole lot of stuff on the original Xbox that was any good.
You are correct. It was originally published on the Xbox July 16, 2003.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia.
I played that a lot and thought it was super interesting. Like it was the same kind of situation as what you were saying, where I had grown up on JRPGs and I was skeptical of Western RPGs where you're like a more anonymous character, although that's not the case in that game, but where you have more control over the story, which is the case in that game. And that kind of changed things quite a bit for me. That game is buggy as hell and has all kinds of bad things, so you should mod it. But there's a lot of interesting stuff that's happening too.
I'm really interested in going back and playing some of these OG BioWare games. I might play the early Baldur's Gate games and see if it's just Larian that I don't like too much.
I never played those games. I did like what's that? I can't think of the Jade Empire. I really liked.
Oh, I played that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, probably the other big OG Xbox game that I played a lot with other people and really enjoyed was Halo, the original Halo, which does have like a science fiction story. That's the thing that I like about it. I don't like playing the online mode or whatever. I mean, it's kind of fun, but it gets tedious. You're just doing the same things over and over. But the story is a lot of fun. It's like right there where I like my science fiction where it's like actually everything is like ancient magic almost, and we're just like, we're not the first people on the galactic scene, we're actually like latecomers, and there was a huge disaster and there's ruins out there and all of the aliens are gone, what happened to them, all that shit is like my jam. I love that stuff. And so you get to do that in that game. And the couldn't really play first person shooters back then because it was a PC thing and you really needed a mouse in order to play them. And that game kind of solved that problem with aim assist, which people make fun of it for, but for people like me who suck, it made it so that I could actually play the game. So it was a lot of fun. And years later, my oldest daughter and I have bonded over playing Halo together because you can play it split screen and play through the whole story. And we've done that many times together. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I love that game. But probably the biggest honorable mention that I would have in this period is a 3D fighting game. So like top of the bar, you know, like a life bar at the top of the screen kind of situation called Soul Calibur 3.
I played a lot of that. Or I played a lot of some Soul Calibur because my friends really liked it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so popular at this time, right? Like the Dreamcast stuff.
What I like about... certain that's the only arcade game I've ever played in an arcade.
Oh, the Soul Calibur game. Those are great. Yeah, cabinets. I love the super fucking loud announcer that you can hear from the other side of the arcade and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so like overly dramatic. That's exactly what I like about it, how over the top everything is.
I should say it's the only arcade game I've ever like paid money to play.
Mm-hmm.
I've played like a lot of free ones in like situations, but that's all. Anyways, talk about it.
They're great you can mash buttons and you can still have fun in those. I'd say the first two games especially are a lot of fun if you don't know what you're doing.
That's me.
But what I like about those games is actually the story. Like in a lot of fighting games, there is a story, quote unquote, but there's not like, I don't know, it's not very deep. But there's actually like a really good fantasy story happening in the Soul Calibur world, or like one that I like anyway. And it does a thing that I'm always interested in, where it's taking different religious traditions from around the globe and causing them to intersect. And it's happening at that time when, you know, like the European colonial expansion is happening in the 1500s and stuff. So you have all these different cultures like crashing into each other. And it just kind of centers the Eastern religion perspective of that stuff. So you have like German knights who are running into cursed Chinese swords, and like, what does that do to them kind of stuff that was like fired up my imagination. And the thing that I really liked about Soul Calibur 3 that was different than the other ones was that you could make your own character and you could insert them into the story. And so it was like a way to tell stories. And I had like backstories that I made up. You could make them look how you wanted. You could get special gear. You could name them whatever you wanted and all this stuff. And mostly people used to be clear, like the thing that people did with these character creators is like make jokey, pervy characters and then, you know, like put them online and stuff. But the thing that I did with them was make like fantasy epics in my own mind. So that was like a storytelling tool to me. And one of the first like, oh, I can make up a story using video games kind of experience that I had at that point.
That's cool. I must have played Soul Calibur 2 then, because we did a story mode, but I don't think we created our own character.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's just like you can. And Soul Calibur 2 had like specific characters to whatever console you were on. So like the Nintendo one, you could play as Link, or I can't remember, but
weird.
PlayStation.
We would have been on PS2 when we were playing Soul Calibur, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember who it was on the PlayStation. I know on the Xbox it was Spawn. It's like,
I don't remember who owned what consoles. You know, I remember I always had a PlayStation, and my friend whose basement we played games in most of the time had a Wii. And
Oh,
I
okay.
think, and she had a PlayStation sometimes because like, after playing through all my favorite games, I would then play them with her. But I don't remember if I brought my PlayStation over.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I've definitely forced her to play all like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. Not forced; she was having a good time
Forced.
too.
She was tied up,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So, but I don't remember if maybe she did have a PS2. There was a point where you could buy, like, I had one of the first PS2s, which
Yeah,
were
me too.
giant. But
Yeah.
then there were smaller ones released later that I think could be cheaper, especially if you got them used.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember. Anyways, God, I miss the PS2. Backwards compatibility.
Yeah, for
So
every
good.
PS1 game, yeah. I still have my PS2. I don't know if it works.
I
Well,
don't.
yeah, it does work because I use it sometimes to play Guitar Hero. I still
Oh,
play it.
nice. We moved recently, so I don't think I did bring a lot of my old. I don't even know where my PS4 is. I think I may have loaned it to that same friend, so it might be at her place.
There you go.
Is there another PS4 in the house? That's the thing. With my sister and I living together for over 10 years now, we have so many consoles. It's ridiculous. Because we both play video games, and so we're like, well, we can't always be sharing the PlayStation, so eventually we just have two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, there are 3 Switches in this household. You know, like, there's only 2 people living here.
Yeah. I have a similar situation
It's
where I have a
ridiculous.
lot of Xboxes in the house. Yeah.
We each have a Switch, and then we have our shared Switch too.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the new one, right? So you gotta like
That's the new
one
one,
at a
yeah.
time right now. Yeah.
Well, we were trying to schedule that out earlier because she really wants to play the Trails remake that's coming out on Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And then a week or two after that, I want to play Final Fantasy Tactics, which I've ordered for the Switch 2. And then, like, a couple weeks after that, the whole reason that she wanted to make sure we had the Switch 2 right away, the new Pokemon game comes out. And so she has to play that. And then eventually after that, a game that I really want to play on the Switch 2 is coming out later this year. And anyways, so we were talking about that earlier today. I'm like, okay, so you've got 1 week to play this game.
Yeah,
Oh my
damn.
gosh.
That's gonna be impossibly hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna have to share.
Get
And
another Switch.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
no, that was
Play in
so
shifts.
expensive.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
I was telling her that I have an emergency fund that I can play on that I can use for an Animal Crossing Switch, but I'm not using it for anything else because that would be an emergency. Anyway, so my number one game that favorite impacted me the most, whatever, had the biggest effect on my life, I've replayed the most, was Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Great
for
game.
me, that was a big thing because, like, in 2001, my parents split up, which was not a sad thing. That really needed to happen years and years before it did. But my mom and I moved from Toronto to Vancouver, and I don't know how, but somehow I got to keep the PS2.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that happened. Like, my dad was the one who bought it for us when our PlayStation broke, which I know I said I was talking last week about how my parents don't know or understand video games, but this is just the kind of person my dad is, where our PS1 stopped working and him and Megan took it to a store to see if it could get fixed, and they came home with a PS2, and that's just incredibly typical of my dad. He'll say, no, this isn't happening. No, we're not spending that money, blah, blah, blah. And then he'll just do it randomly out of nowhere for, I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was the decision that made my mom want to leave him, because that was a very expensive piece of equipment. Or, like, she always wanted to leave him, but, like,
Yeah.
that she was going to do it because it was very expensive and he didn't talk to her about it first or anything.
Sure.
Just dropped like $600 on it.
On a toy.
Yeah. So that's fun. Anyways, I got to keep the PS2. And then we moved, and a couple months after we moved, Final Fantasy X came out, and I had to scrape together my own money to buy it because my mom wouldn't have never. And I did, and then I played it over and over and over again. You know, I had just moved across the country. I didn't know that many people.
Right.
And yeah, I just played it a lot, and it was there for me when I needed it.
And that was your first Final Fantasy?
No. I'd played 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about that last time.
Yeah.
You were familiar
Yes.
with the franchise.
But this was Final Fantasy X was a huge leap forward.
Sure, yeah.
Like it is still a like even if you're not playing the HD remake, the original one is still a good game. The gameplay is still so smooth. It is still pretty. You know, like
I think it has the best party system.
yes,
like when
absolutely.
you're fighting.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love it really put together what I love about turn-based battle, which is the chess of it all, you know, the thinking, well, if this person does this and then I can do this with this person. Because without the ATB, you can really just pause and think without having to pause. You know what I mean?
Right. You can sit there.
And you can see whose turn is coming up on the side and how your different actions might change that. It's such a good battle system. I love it so much. And the leveling up system, the sphere grid, like that's gone on to influence a lot of leveling up systems. Like Dragon Age Veilguard's leveling up system is almost exactly that sphere grid. It has influenced so much.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really, really good. The art's top notch. The music is so good.
And the story was great.
It's really good.
That's the way that it really honed in on how, you know, stupid sacrifice isn't worth it, but the right sacrifice is.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And
there's this real bittersweet love story that's like a really good coming of age kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it had what I really miss about the old Final Fantasies. Like people talk a lot about, or people our age talk about how Final Fantasy has gone downhill, even though the games, you know, sell more now than they ever did back then. But that might also just be availability. People talk about, you know, the turn-based system and the open world or the overworld and all that type of thing. And I'm like, that's not what I miss. Well, I mean, I do miss turn-based, but I understand that that's not for everybody. I miss a party of people who affect each other. You know, like the team coming together and changing each other's lives. And then changing the world also.
And being pretty different from each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15 and 16 just didn't have that. Like, especially 15, you guys are all just like best buds until there's a little bit of tension later on, but you get over that pretty quick.
Yeah.
And you've been best buds forever. And you're on a best bud road trip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we have some growth? Maybe? And some women? Maybe? No, not in 15. Anyway.
Yeah, you have very, very different people and there's all kinds of like even racial tension in 10.
Yes.
Yeah, with the Albed. You have like an Albed character
and
in there in the mix, and the Kimari's people and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Religious manipulation and
yeah.
And then unpacking that, it's so good. I love it so much.
Yeah, that was one where I remember playing it and I was like, oh wow, it's doing this like parallel narrative where like Titus was this, or Titus, however you want to say it,
whatever,
was like this very famous sports person, right? And then Yuna is like the same kind of celebrity, and they're both kind of celebrities because of their dads. There's like a lot of like parallel construction with those characters in a way that like I had never seen that in a video game, that felt like pretty rich to me, and it had a lot to say about celebrity culture and like how we use those people, how like everybody was willing to defer their responsibility for the world onto Yuna and the burden of that for her, and like the only person who could really understand that was Titus, and he was kind of the only person who could be there for her because he understood what she was going through in a way that nobody else really did. That game is phenomenal.
It's
a lot of people say it's like the last great Final Fantasy game, maybe.
But again, people our age say that, and
yeah,
it's hard to divorce nostalgia from truth.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think they're all just great in different ways, and they bring different things to the table.
Like a lot of people love 12
Yeah. Yeah, I like
Right? Like,
lots
it
of
just,
stuff about
I
12.
didn't care about a single one of the characters in 12. So it's, but the gameplay was so, like, the gameplay kept me going in 12.
Yeah.
But I think 12 is a lot of people's number one. So, I mean, 13 is nobody's number one, but, well, maybe it's somebody's. But the thing about 13, I don't want to make this all about Final Fantasy, because 13 isn't even on my honorable mentions here. But
Yeah.
I will say the thing about 13 is it was probably the first PS3 game I played, or at least the first, like, big PS3 game I played. I don't know. And I remember at one point I was just running around with lightning, and then I just stopped and looked at the floor, at the details on it, and I was like, holy shit, this is big. Like, this
The
is
game
so
is
good.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I very much remember being blown away by how it looked.
Yeah. It has weirdly beautiful menus in Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, I don't even remember the menus. It's been a while for me.
You should just look at the UI, like a video of it, and be like, damn, like, why don't they do it like that anymore? I remember driving through a blizzard in the mountains, like an hour, to buy a PS2 and Final Fantasy X so that I could play it. I lived in the mountains in Colorado, and the only time that I had the day off, it was a blizzard, and I was like, I don't care if I die. It was such a stupid choice. Then I'm gonna die to play this game. And I asked this poor Walmart worker, because I didn't know anything about, like, the Xbox had a built-in hard drive.
Oh yeah, PS2 did not.
Yeah, but I knew that, because, like, everything that I had played before that was cartridges, and the memory was local on the actual physical game you're working with, and I knew that it was on a disc, so that wouldn't be possible. And I was like, okay, man, is there a hard drive in this thing, or do I really need one of these memory cards? Like, what is the deal? And he was like, oh no, there's a hard drive, you don't need a memory card.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so I got, I want to say, like 60% through that game, and then one of my roommates turned it off because they knew I couldn't turn it off. And yeah, so then I had to go get a memory card and
restart.
Yep.
I can't imagine leaving your PS2 on for 60% and, like, sleeping. How did it not overheat?
Fry?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was bad choices.
I'm pretty sure PS2 had just as much problems as the PS3, but just in different ways. I don't remember, actually.
That's actually the same PS2 that I still have. I still have that PS2.
Nice.
I also have a slim version of it because
those were so much better.
All kinds of problems. Yeah. But yeah, it's a phenomenal game. Great game. Had to have a guide for it because some of those temple puzzles are impossible, but great. Yeah, so my top honorable mention, real top game is Final Fantasy X-2.
Which is crazy. I didn't know you felt this strongly about it. I love 10-2, but yeah. As we have talked about with my Super Mario Brothers history, I love any time I get to play as a woman, because it happens so seldom. And I loved
three women.
Yeah, I loved how girly it was, and I loved the chance to give them a happy ending, you know?
Yeah.
And I know some people hate it because the whole point of the game is finding your happiness without that. I'm trying so hard not to spoil things in these 30-year-old games.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's pretty old.
But then you can still get the over-the-top happy ending if you play the game right. But I don't know. I like a happy ending.
I think I just love the battle system in this so much.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
It's my favorite. I really love the music. Yeah, when I replay it, I don't always care about the story as much, maybe, as Final Fantasy X. But I do like what you're talking about. I love how the main villains are women, the main heroes are women, and how the whole thing is it's very dress up. And I was like, I just love that Final Fantasy could be this thing. It's what I really love about the series, is that they're all so different, and that this one just went ham wild with it's just like the girliest Final Fantasy. And I don't know, it just made me happy and proud of the franchise in a way where I was see what video games can be if we let them, or I don't know. So I just love, I loved all the cinematic, when you change the dress spheres, Everything about the game is just like so show offy and like over the top. and the story is cool. I like how you have a lot of control over how that can play out too in the story.
That's true. I don't think of it that way because I'm always trying to get 100% in a single playthrough, which I have never mentioned because chapter 4 messes everything up.
Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, I don't think you can do it without a guide. It's kind of unfair.
You have to go through chapter 4 in an extremely exact manner and also rely on a lot of luck to get 100% in one playthrough. And I'm not the type of person, or I have never done 2 playthroughs back to back of that game. So I've just never gotten 100%.
Oh.
So I've just looked up the ending on YouTube.
Yeah. It's definitely designed to play it.
Yeah.
They want you to play New Game Plus. Basically.
Because if you get like 90 or 85%, you still get the really good ending, and that's all I wanted, right? You don't get the perfect ending, but you get that you get the happy reunion, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, it has a great, I don't know. It has a good story, but I think the main thing that I'm doing when I play Final Fantasy is what people call grinding. Like that's what I want to be doing, and the story is like frosting on the cake, but I'm mostly eating cake. And the fact that, so like in Final Fantasy X you can swap out the characters, which I think is the best way to do that. But you only have 3 characters in this game, so you don't need to. So you're swapping out jobs, and I just thought that was brilliant.
It's so good.
Yeah, you get to stay with these characters. They get to have a lot of stuff happening with just them, and then the combat gets to be, all the diversity gets packed in this completely different way in the combat, and it's very, very fast. So like if you're good at the Final Fantasy games, it's like a harder version of that if you keep it on like real-time combat. And I loved it.
I also like that the battle system is involved in the storyline. I love when they really do that.
Yeah.
And it's also just a great story about moving on. Yeah. Like we changed the world at the end of 10, like really changed it. And now everybody's got to figure out what they're going to do in this new world. And
you never get to see that
story.
Yeah, you never get to see that.
And it's more than an epilogue, because it's not like, hey, everything's great for our characters now. No, it's everyone's kind of lost because they were their lives revolved so much around the way the world was and all that, and that we fixed. And now what do you do in a fixed world? Well, you find new ways to mess it up.
And it also, like I said, she was like this celebrity character, right? And then she becomes this other kind of celebrity character that's
even more of a celebrity.
Yeah, but it's like inwardly, instead of her being like, she's very outwardly like, I have to be this for everyone. It's very inwardly, I get to be this for me.
Yes.
And she still gets to be famous, and I just love that for Yuna. I really, really love Yuna as a character. I think she's fantastic.
And I also love, even if you don't get the happy reunion ending, you still get Yuna to a place where she's good.
Yeah.
And that's nice too.
Yeah, that game is great. I was very skeptical of them making a direct sequel, and then I was like,
it was the first one.
Actually the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's legacy. We could have done without it, actually, but
yeah.
I don't need 10 Final Fantasy VII games. But I'm sure a lot of other people love the Final Fantasy VII spinoff. So,
well, they're hoping they do, because there sure are a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, they keep making them, so they must sell. Anyways, it's been 50 minutes, and we have done 1 decade, and this is my smallest honorable mentions. Okay, good. 2010 to 2019. I'm going to try to fly through some of my honorable mentions here. So I put Pillars of Eternity on here because it came out in the 2010s, but I played it this year. But I really loved it. It's really good, and it has kind of kicked off me getting into CRPGs. I love the lore of that world. Highly recommend if you like CRPGs. I put in Final Fantasy 15 because it's the only game I've ever platinumed in my life.
Wow. I don't think I did that.
Yeah. I did it before a bunch of the updates, so there might be trophies I don't have now. But when I did it like within 2 weeks or whatever of it coming out, platinumed, and I was done with it forever.
Nice. 2 weeks is good.
Yeah. Well, that might be an exaggeration. I genuinely don't remember. I put on Dragon Age 2 because this is the decade where I played all the Dragon Age games, and I like Dragon Age 2. It was real good. You know, it was very different and definitely suffered from its 2-year timeline, but the characters were... I loved how everybody just fucking hated each other, you know? It was great.
It's like, it's a real dirty game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's fun, and I feel like that tension is really what was missing from Veilguard, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I put Breath of the Wild because it's the only Zelda game I've ever played.
Okay. So you never went back and played like
Nope.
the SNES one or anything?
No, and I've only played about half of Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah,
maybe even less than half. I got really annoyed with the Koroks and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I've only ever played one modern one. I didn't even play, like, I've never played Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I never played any of those. And I played Skyward Sword on the Wii, which everybody says is like the worst one. So like,
yeah.
I don't even know from modern Zelda. I played the old ones when I was a kid. So.
Breath of the Wild was a lot of fun. I liked it. I just, like I said, we had the Nintendo, and then I did not have the original NES, and then I did not have another Nintendo console in my life until the Switch. So I just didn't have the opportunity, really, to play any of the Zelda games, and I also had no real understanding of what they were. So whatever.
Yeah.
I put down Stardew Valley, but I'm pretty sure I didn't play Stardew Valley until the 2020s, so it's just an honorable mention. But I love Stardew Valley. I love playing it modded. It's why I got into PC gaming, because I wanted to mod Stardew Valley instead of just playing the same game over and over again on my Switch. And if you have the you just need a really cheap computer to be able to play Stardew Valley with mods.
Oh yeah, it's like a 16-bit game, basically.
Yeah, it's Pixel. Yeah. So I highly recommend. It is one of the most robust modding communities on Nexus Mods. Because it's pixel art and there's no voice acting, you can completely change the game, right? You can just add in completely new things. You can make it look completely different. It's great. I love vanilla Stardew Valley, and I love modded Stardew Valley, and I love not ever having to catch another fish ever again in my life.
you know, play it, mod it in a desert where there's no water.
Yes, exactly. Well, no, I still, I have to catch the fish because for the game you kind of need to, but I don't have to do the little fishing mini game. I just mod that out. And for anybody who thinks that's cheating, I have reached Ginger Island on my Switch. You know, I can do it. I just don't ever want to again in my life. I honestly, I wouldn't mind it if you were always guaranteed to have the fish at the end. Like, if it takes me an hour to get the fish, that's fine. But to struggle and struggle and struggle and then lose it, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. It makes me want to punch my Switch. And I have an Animal Crossing Switch. You know, I paid some money for that. Tom Nook is literally staring at me as we talk.
Right.
Okay. Witcher 3 I put on. I really love that game. I feel like Witcher 3 is one of the best open world games because it does that really good thing of you're just walking around and you can stumble into some fun side quests and some fun main quests, and the choices that you make in that game are really interesting. And I love that it was the first time I'd played one where they have a timer on some of your choices, some of your big choices. You can't just stop and think about it or look it up or whatever. You just got to choose one, or it'll choose one for you.
Or the thing happens. Yeah. We talked about this, I think, off mic before, but I've started that game, but never done much with it.
I like the battles in it. Not that I was ever good at them, but you know, I don't know.
It's like action combat. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. And I love the sort of mix of light magic with swords, and you get to play as Ciri sometimes. So that's great. Anytime I can play as a woman. Great.
Yeah. There's a lot of women characters in that franchise. So.
I do also love sleeping with all the random women. You know, it's great fun.
You definitely get to in those games.
Although, not the random side character woman that I thought was the hottest. Couldn't sleep with her, but that's fine.
Who is that?
It was from a side quest where she was stuck asleep and you had to figure out.
Oh, so like an NPC, not one of the main.
Yeah, no. Yeah, my main romance, I would always go with Triss.
Sure.
But like,
sure.
because I hate Yennefer. But in
That's
the
very
games,
funny.
in the show, I would, and I've never read the books, so whatever. Anyways, but from the side quest women, you could sleep with whoever you wanted, and Triss and Yennefer wouldn't care as long as you didn't sleep with the other one of them. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or
Yeah.
at least it would never come up. So I always thought we should get to sleep with that lady who was stuck asleep because she was hot. But no.
That's funny that the game didn't give you an option, because I feel like that is one of the main options in that franchise.
There were plenty of other people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's just weird that one time.
Yeah, that one time I wanted to and I couldn't.
That's funny.
Anyways, I really liked the DLC on that. If you bought the DLC physically, they came with packs of Gwent cards so that you could play Gwent. I
did play
Gwent.
a shitload of Gwent. Yeah,
I love
did.
Gwent
That's the
so
main thing I'd
much.
played in that game. Yeah, I played a lot of that. That's fun.
I got like a system down that works for me, and I got real good at it. I got all the Gwent achievements, like, oh, so good. Love Gwent.
Yeah, Gwent's good.
Anyways, Witcher 3, A+. The Mass Effect trilogy. I don't think I've ever cried so hard in a game as I did in Mass Effect 3. And
wow.
Because the thing about Mass Effect 3 is it's not all at the same time, right? You cry on this mission, then you cry on this mission, then the ending happens and you're just crying through all. Oh my god, I cried so hard. I, to this day, cannot think about Rex calling me his sister without getting emotional.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I love Rex. He's so good.
It's so much.
Did you play that when it came out?
No. I had never played a shooter before, possibly since, in my life. I hate shooters. I would never.
It's barely a shooter, but I get what you mean. Yeah.
But so my friend who convinced me to play Dragon Age, afterwards, when I was like, I just love Dragon Age so much, I want to play more games like that, she was like, play Mass Effect. And I was like, but it's a shooter. Lot like it. Yeah. And she was like, just play Mass Effect. So I played Mass Effect on her behest. I think by that point on the PS3 you could buy the trilogy all in one.
But it wasn't like this re-released one.
No, it wasn't the Legendary. This was before the Legendary Edition came out.
Yeah.
Which I then bought again on my.
Yeah, I think that's the way to play it.
Nowadays, play the Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
But at the time, I don't know. Maybe I did buy them individually then. I don't remember. But I got them on my PS3 and played them on my PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure, though, I got them in like a pack and it came with all the DLC.
Okay, yeah. There was definitely like Game of the Year versions and stuff that had like everything packed in there.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that 3 has.
I should tell you about how I stole the Dragon Age Inquisition DLC, but that's my number 1, so I'll get to that.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, Mass Effect was just like a really great story. It's the only like series or trilogy or whatever that I've played where the same characters in the same story go through all 3 games and come to this really like catharsis end at the end of the 3rd game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They go on some real journeys and it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mass Effect 3 is my favorite of the trilogy. And I know that's everybody loves 2. 2 was probably my least favorite. Mostly because you had those like temporary characters come in who I just didn't give a shit about.
It never came back. Yeah.
Yeah. Or not. I didn't give it. I like some of them, but I didn't really care about Miranda. And there's a lot about Miranda. And I didn't care about Jacob. And when I first played 2, I was like, okay, well, let's flirt with Jacob. But you flirt with him one time and he's like, we're in a relationship now. And I'm like, no,
yeah, he's
no,
very
we're not.
white knight about it. We're married, right?
We are not. Yeah. And then I guess he does that with every woman because the next time you see him in 3, he's married. And
Yep.
He's with someone else. I don't remember if he's married.
Some dudes are just trying to get married. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. And and besides that, his story was kind of boring and the humans in 2 suck.
Yep. I think that's right.
I did romance, what's his face? Frog guy.
Mm-hmm.
Frog assassin.
I don't remember his name either, but yeah, the guy who looks like a Star Wars character.
And he was great, and I cried a lot at the end of his story in 3. So my first time playing 3 was just tragic, really. And of course, Morden's storyline I think he has the best story.
Yeah.
If you make the right choices, obviously. But it's so good how his story in 2 affects him to start thinking about things differently. And then you see how he then puts that into action in 3. And then fixes all of his mistakes basically and has like a really heroic ending. It's so good. I love Mass Effect.
Yeah. I guess I asked about if you asked if it came out when you played it, because there was the whole thing about like the community had such a strong reaction to 3 that they changed it and they added stuff that did give more catharsis to it. So if you played it,
no,
when I played it, it didn't have that stuff in it.
Yeah, I didn't have I did not play the original version of Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
So I just don't even have I have no feelings about that because I don't quite know what it was.
I remember probably my strongest memory of 3, besides all the great stuff that you're talking about. And I played 3 multiple
3
times.
opens, the opening sequence of 3 is in downtown Vancouver. So it's actually kind of nice running around and noticing the like buildings that I recognize and stuff. Because BioWare is here sometimes.
Is there. But yeah, BioWare Vancouver. But I remember the very end of the game where just like this little kid is telling you all this stuff. And the first time that I played it, I got fed up with that kid. And I felt so mad. And I shot the kid in the head as like but I didn't think anything would happen. And it unlocks like a secret ending. And I was like, oh shit, I did not mean that. That was I just thought like you could shoot your gun in any direction and it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
And I just thought it would like not shoot the kid. And then it was an ending. And I was like, oh fuck. So that's how I beat that game the first time. But shooting a child in the head. And I was like, oh, consequences.
Do you have an ending preference?
I think it was like to get rid of
destroy.
Yeah, to get rid of the synthetics, I think was the way that made sense to me.
I do think that's the best ending, but man, did I just put a lot of effort into the Geth, you know?
Yeah, I feel bad for the Geth. Like the Geth are like the argument against it. Yeah, of course.
Evie?
No, I think
her name is.
Yeah.
Like I just got them to be accepted, and it's like, well, I guess
wipe them out. Pretty weird.
The first time I played, I went with synthesized because I felt so bad about the Geth, but I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels wrong.
It feels wrong.
Or I don't think they support an arc that makes sense for that ending anymore.
Yeah. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen with Mass Effect 4.
Mm-hmm.
Just as I didn't put it here, but I did enjoy Andromeda. It was fine. Like it was fine.
I played some of it, but didn't finish it.
I played it twice. I played it when it first came out, and then I just played it last year, I think, on PC, and I modded it, and it was fun. I had a good time. You know, again, divorced from expectations, it was a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I liked romancing the alien guy. It was a great time.
It's more of the same thing.
Well, the problem is that it's not more of the same. Like, I wasn't overly connected to the characters. I didn't... that part of it, feeling that connection that you feel in the original trilogy to both the story and the characters wasn't there. And I know other people who like game for different reasons than me didn't like the gameplay as much, but they had a lot of work on that one. They had to create everything from scratch because they were forced to change engines.
Yeah. And there was a bad shakeup at EA too that hurt that game.
Yeah, so EA messing everything up as per usual for BioWare.
That's pretty normal for them, yeah.
EA also has some offices here.
Yeah, of course. Your entertainment hub.
And yeah, so what are yours? Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Persona 5 also.
Persona 5?
I love Persona 5. Oh, and, oh my god, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, Zero Dawn came out at that time.
Yeah, it was...
Before 2020. I looked it up.
I think it was 2017.
Okay. That sounds right.
You know what? I want to talk about that one for a minute because, man, did I go into that game knowing nothing. I was like, bow and arrows shooting robot dinosaurs? Sign me up. Right? Like I knew it was going to be an RPG, so I knew that there was going to be a good story. Well, I knew there was going to be a story. But, oh my god, I love Horizon Zero Dawn because it's the only game I've seen put actual effort into doing something different with the storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that you sort of figure out what happened in the past backwards and how, because you're doing, like, you start at the end of, like, okay, so then this happened and humanity as we knew it was destroyed, and then but we're all still here, so they must have figured something out. And then as you go backwards, you sort of start figuring out what they figured out and how they figured it out at the beginning and then lied to everyone, and plus the other guy. And oh, it's so good. It's just really good storytelling plus fun ass gameplay. Like,
Yeah, because it's like post-apocalyptic kind of.
it's post-apocalyptic, yeah, and just and figuring out the past and how the apocalypse or whatever happened. It's so good. It's so good. And then how it all sort of comes together with what's happening in the present time. I love it so much. That game is great. Also, obviously, it's a very feminist game. And it's very, well, I don't think it's subtle, but like it's not subtle, but it's not punching you in the face with it. It feels very how that would actually happen. You know, like, yeah, Elon Musk would be the one to end the world. You know? in Horizon Zero Dawn, he's called Ted Faro. But it's...
We're on that timeline, actually.
Yeah. And it's
when I got a PS5, I played a little bit of it. I think I sabotaged myself and I cranked the difficulty up way too high.
Oh, it no, had those dinosaurs are hard.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of like Assassin's Creed style action game, and that's I love that kind of thing. Yeah. So I got to go back and do it because everybody says it's so good.
I replayed it just before the sequel came out, but because I just wanted to get through it as quickly as possible to remind myself of everything, I played it on story mode, and oh my god, does it feel so good to one-shot those robots.
Yeah, that's what I need to do, is just go in there and have fun.
That's so great. Like, I loved the challenge the first time, but the second time I was like, nope, let's just one-shot everyone.
Yeah, I had a too hard of a time. I was just sitting there in the weeds going like, I can't move. I'm so scared.
Yeah, that's
fair. Which is too real. I don't want to. That's how I would be in real life. I would be like, I'm fucked. I'm going to die.
My first playthrough, there were definitely some monsters that I just decided to take, an hour to beat. From, I would put up like a rope trap, watch them get stuck, shoot them a couple times, hide. And then once they forgot about me, put up another rope trap, shoot them a couple times.
That's completely valid, I think. Yeah. That's like real, yeah. Yeah,
and
that's valid.
Yes, that now is definitely... See, in 2010s, I got a real job, so I played a lot more video games.
Well, you could afford
college,
to buy stuff. Yeah.
Got a well-paying job, quit the only job I ever loved, and started my soulless corporate journey for more money.
For money, yeah.
And lots more video games.
Yeah. I think for this period of time, honorable mentions probably go to like Lost Odyssey, I think is a lost classic.
Yeah, I was so against Xbox for so long that I never got to play it.
Yeah, I love that game on the Xbox. It's really beautiful. It has really cool innovations that actually got put into Expedition 33 this year, where when you do the attack, you have, if you want to make it hit harder, you got to do these certain timing moves, dynamic animations that aren't annoying. The way that, like in Final Fantasy VII, everything, like the camera, just sit the fuck still, camera. Like, you can move the camera and do interesting things without the camera being like in a Michael Bay movie, just whirling around everything constantly all the time. Just everything in that game. There's slow moments, fast moments, great characters. It's very like philosophical and existential and funny all at the same time. So that game is great. And not a lot of people played it because it was on the Xbox, like you said.
Yeah, I'm upset that they never did a PC release for it. Like, it's an Xbox game, so it should be relatively easy to give it to me on PC. I want it.
Weirdly, now it's like more and more Xbox is trying to become an app, so I feel like you could play it on a PC, kind of, maybe. One day.
We can save that discussion for our episode on the downfall of of gaming, of non-indie gaming.
Yeah. I think the BioShock series coming out around this time was pretty good. I'm bad at those games, but I think the storytelling is interesting, even though the politics are a little problematic, but that's okay. You like think about that stuff. It's interesting.
The problem with those is that I think they started on the Xbox. You can probably play them on PlayStation now. So
I'm
I
sure
just
they're
never,
everywhere.
I never played them. And when I learned about them, I learned about them from someone discussing the twist.
Oh, okay.
Right? So now I just know it, and I don't know if I want to, I don't know. I don't know if I want to play them knowing. I wish I could forget. Which, like, normally spoilers don't bother me, but that's all I hear about BioShock 1 is the twist.
I like the third one more, which is the controversial take. Everybody kind of hates, especially people with my
I just
politics.
said Mass Effect 3 is my favorite. We can't be more controversial than that.
I think this might be equal.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because that's the one, the third one is, and they don't all, it's not like you need to play them to understand each other, but they do have a continuity. But I think the third one is the most interesting of them. But it does have this whole thing about like there's slavery and racism is a big theme in that whole thing. And it's like, well, what if, hey, anti-racists aren't perfect either, is kind of like the landing of the political message of that game, which makes it extremely sour for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and I get fair. That. But I just think the world building is the most interesting in that game, and the actual characters in the game are the most compelling out of the entire series, and you have an actual relationship. The game is about a relationship between two characters, not a romantic relationship, but like a almost father-daughter relationship.
Right.
Yeah, so I think those games are great.
That kind of turns me off more. I watched a YouTube video recently that was, I'm never going to be able to find it, so I cannot credit this man, because it was not recently enough for me to be able to, like, look it up. That talked about the phenomenon of dad games and how prevalent they are now.
This is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and obviously it's because, you know, the people who grew up playing video games are now making video games, and they're adults and getting married and having kids. Yeah, and that all makes sense. Except there's zero mom games.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's just very boring.
And after having that, like, talked about and pointed out to me, and I was like, it's so obvious everywhere now, and I'm so sour about it.
Yep.
You know, I'm so, like, I just hate, like, I don't even like my dad. Why? Why would I want to learn about becoming a dad? Are there good ones out there? I don't know them.
I feel like, especially on the PlayStation, I should
say, I didn't mean, that was not pointed at you or any of the people my own age who are dads. I'm mostly talking about my own.
I have the same relationship with my dad. So I 100% get what you're saying. And I think that in the PlayStation era, there's so many of those games. And all of them, and I think it's actually really poisonous for the kind of thing that you're talking about, have that, like, even though it's kind of from the dad perspective, I think every one of those games has a very pessimistic, like, conclusion to them that, like, no, there are no good fathers, basically. Like, all fathers are bad fathers, actually. And they, if they don't fail to protect their daughters, and it's almost always daughters, then they crumple under their own moral cowardice. Yeah, every one of them. So, like, God of War, The Last of Us,
those
BioShock,
are the big ones.
They're all like that. Yeah. So I think there aren't good fathers in media a lot of times, because for one thing, it's like easier to tell a good story with a bad father. But
yeah.
Anyway, probably the biggest honorable mention would be, and this might be the game that I played the most in this era, even though it kind of came out at the tail end of it, would be Street Fighter 4. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan.
I would never have guessed that. I want everybody listening to know that I didn't put my honorable mentions in our shared notes. Alan did, but in such a way that I had absolutely no idea what they are. So
I didn't know what your DAI is. I don't know what that is. So
that's Dragon Age.
Yeah, I know. I get it now.
Okay. So he just put SF4, and I was like, SF?
What is that?
And I was like, I don't know any SF video games. What? Street Fighter. That's cool.
Street Fighter. Yeah, so that was the big reboot for the entire franchise, because it had fallen out of the fighting game scene. There was I talked about Soul Calibur, which is a 3D fighter. You're able to move the camera around 360 degrees. The characters are built out of polygons. And all of the old Street Fighter games, of course, are flat 2D pixel art characters. And so Street Fighter 4 had the first 3D builds of these characters, but still tried to do the 2D combat. So you can't move the camera around. You can't like step to the left or right to avoid a strike. You're still like locked into a 2-dimensional fighting plane, but everything is rendered in 3 dimensions.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the look of the game is like extremely unique and completely changed. Now the whole genre looks like this, basically. So it transitions from like a 2D perspective to 3D for different moves, and it makes your special moves like way more dynamic and cooler, and the endings feel more cinematic, when you finish and the camera like moves around the character and stuff. So I played that a lot. I really like fighting games in terms of sitting down and playing a game where I can play for 5 minutes on a fighting game and win a few fights and just feel like a lot better. And I don't have to play for very long is kind of what I'm saying. Like you can do an arcade run through in like 10 minutes, right? From start to finish, and win it, quote unquote, like beat the final boss, have the cinematic at the end, and you're done. It's kind of like a boss rush of other games. And so I played a lot of Street Fighter. I played a lot of Street Fighter when I was a kid, starting in the arcades. Even with Street Fighter 1, I loved Street Fighter 1 when I was a kid, and I'm like probably the only person on earth who liked Street Fighter 1 because it was a terrible game. It was like what if Karate Champ was worse than it is in the arcade? That's Street Fighter 1. The innovation for Street Fighter 1 was that it had these gigantic palm-sized buttons. It had a red and a blue button that were enormous and had like a big rubber pad over them. And the thing was, as hard as you hit the button is how hard your character will hit the enemy on the screen.
That sounds bad for like keeping it working.
Yes, you are correct. That was the main problem with these cabinets. And the fighting was not fun, but when you beat the enemy, it would go into a bonus round, which still exists in the franchise. And I don't think that most people know the origin of this, where you have to like fight a car and like the car just sits there and you beat up the car and it like falls apart piece by piece. Or there's like barrels that are falling out of a brewery or something, and you have to break all the barrels. And it's just like can you do the moves to beat the timer in the modern games. But back when the arcade cabinet, you would have to like chop through a bunch of pieces of wood, like a martial arts exhibition would be, right? Or like bricks or sheets of ice or whatever. And you had to hit the button hard enough, but not too hard. You had to hit it just right to do that. And that's what I wanted to do in that game, was do that little mini game and what I loved it for. So anyway, all that to say that like I played Street Fighter from OG all the way up to 4, and I was just like, man, 4 is such a good like reboot of the entire thing, and it was so much fun to play. So I played it quite a bit in this era.
My only experience of Street Fighter is I saw the 1994 movie in theaters.
Wow, Raul Julia.
I remember Van Damme.
Sure, yeah. As the American soldier guy.
Oh yeah, everybody was kind of yeah.
Everybody was miscast.
I was 8.
Yeah,
or something like that, 8 or 9. I have a late birthday, so probably 8. Yeah, that's the only I don't think I've ever played a Street Fighter. If I have, I was forced into it. In the same way that I was forced to play Soul Calibur.
Pretty salty about that movie as a kid.
I knew nothing going into it, so I actually thought it was super fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I've come to enjoy it since then. Raul Julia's performance is the best thing about that movie.
All right, number ones of the 2010 to 2019. As I've said, it's Dragon Age Inquisition. I guess I put it here because I really mean the whole series Dragon Age. As I previously mentioned, it was my first Western RPG. It was what got me into Western RPGs. And the thing about Inquisition in particular is the story is not as tight and not as good as some of the other ones, but the characters are great. And the open world, I love an open world game. I feel like the main discussion right now is how everyone's done with open worlds, and I'm the only person clinging to it with raw bloody fingernails. I love open world. Maybe because I come from like JRPGs and just being left to grind for hours is kind of what we did in JRPGs.
Mm-hmm. Here are cool looking hallways. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I get a lot of listening to audiobooks done and watching YouTube or TV series and just like fighting a bunch of stuff and unlocking all the stupid little fetch quests that Inquisition had. It's a great time. I don't know.
I loved being at that table in Inquisition and making like these big civilization style choices. I was like, oh, this is really interesting.
Right. But then having that come to nothing.
Yeah, that kind of sucked. But it felt different than the other two games.
Yes.
You really felt like you had a big effect on the world.
That's true. That's very true. It did feel important in the moment.
Yeah.
And I loved that you got to play as this person who was being seen as like a religious savior, and you could lean into that or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool. And old characters came back, and like a lot of old characters came back in that game. Some to, small little cameos, and some like you could romance, like Cullen and Cassandra, who were from previous games. And
oh, that's right.
and you could romance them in this game, and that's great. And
because you played these like 1, 2, 3, right? You like boom, boom, boom.
I went boom, and I've played them all again. Like Origins and Inquisition in particular, I've played 5 to 10 times. Like it's not a small amount.
Yeah.
Especially now that I PC game and can mod them. Highly recommend. Again, modding is great for some of these older games if you want to revisit them, but you don't want to just do the same thing or look the same way over and over again. And it's relatively simple. There's many YouTube tutorials who will easily walk you through it. Highly recommend it for anybody out there who wants to relive these games.
Yeah, cool.
Anyways, it's so great. And it kind of also made me friends. Like the friend at the bookstore where I worked, which is the only job I've ever loved that I quit for money, who recommended it to me. We're still friends, and we still talk about video games to this day. And neither of us, we don't work together anymore. So that's great. And I was at, like, a friend of mine had a birthday party or something. And so she had a lot of friends that I didn't know, but I overheard 2 of them complaining. This was like just after Inquisition came out. Complaining about the rift, or complaining about something near a river. And I was like, I know exactly what rift they're talking about in the Elderlands. And so I was just like, excuse me, are you talking about Dragon Age Inquisition? And they were, obviously. And we just spent like hours talking about it. And none of us had finished the game at that point. And so that was great. And literally, like, I'm still friends with those people. One of them just complimented me on my beautiful sourdough loaf that I made.
Nice.
So that game has just meant a lot to me over the years. And it's what got me into those types of games. I don't know how to, like, RPGs where you can choose who to romance.
Mm-hmm.
The Dragon Age series is what got me into that. And where you can make choices that affect the story. I thought I would hate that because the story doesn't necessarily feel real if you can have it be different, if that makes any sort of sense.
Yeah.
Like there's no canon then. And I thought I would hate that. But turns out I loved it. Who knew?
I feel that way about, there's like an idea of procedurally generated story games, and that's how I feel about those. It's like, that's nothing. Like, I could just do that. I don't need a game for that. I could just do that. I could just roll some dice, I guess.
Oh, yeah, but like those friends that I met through Dragon Age, I've played Dungeons and Dragons with for years, and the only thing we kind of fell off during COVID, but so I don't know. It just it changed my life.
I feel like that game in particular, like we talked about Final Fantasy X-2 being like a girly girl kind of game and Horizon being feminist. I feel like that game is Inquisition in particular hit big with women in a way that like, and this was like around the time of Gamergate and stuff, that was just like baffling to men, that like, where are all these women coming from? Why? What is happening to our thing? And just like an identity crisis in gaming in a way that I don't think BioWare had an awareness of that either.
I think BioWare was, but EA was not to this day.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Like EA and their weird control over BioWare is nonsensical to me, because Dragon Age Inquisition sold more than all 3 Mass Effect games put together.
Mm-hmm.
And EA hates Dragon Age.
It's so weird.
Keeps wanting to make more Mass Effect.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And it's like, what are you doing? What?
And I think it's the exact thing that I was
and
saying.
Like Inquisition won Game of the Year. Not that I care about the Game of the Year awards. I think they're bullshit, but
right.
You know what I mean? That's a huge industry award.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just dithered on making a sequel. If they had come up with a sequel 3 to 5 years instead of 10 years afterwards, it would have sold phenomenally. Apparently I can't say that. It would have sold very well.
Right.
And it, like, so many of my friends who are more casual gamers than me who played Inquisition remembered nothing, so didn't even care about Veilguard. Like, it's not that they heard the criticisms and thought it was bad. It was that they did not care anymore because it has been so long.
So long, yeah, because they can't remember the story anyway.
Yeah. Not that that matters for Veilguard, because they threw all your choices down the garbage, but whatever.
Right. Yeah, so I think somehow it was just emblematic. I mean, the women gamers had always been there. But I remember when that game came out, I was just like, wow. This is really hitting with a female community in a way that I just have never seen before. And then to have, EA turn around and be like, nope, don't want a new market, don't want a new segment of like, no, thank you. Please go play Barbie games or something. We don't understand. There's fighting in this game and dragons and stuff. Why do girls like it? Was
girls
just
have always
baffling.
liked dragons.
Of course.
I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. Let's not get into it.
We're on the same side anyway. It would be boring.
Yeah.
So mine is the most typical I'm a boy answer for this period. Dark Souls.
I was not expecting that when I saw that written down. Like, really? Number 1? Interesting.
I've probably put 400 or 500 hours into the original Dark Souls. A lot. I've replayed it a lot. For me, so we've talked about this previously, that there's the whole get good kind of bro gamer out there, and this is like their game, and I just don't feel that way. It's kind of more what you were saying about Horizon, where this was a game where it really supports any kind of game style, and it's like I managed to kind of glitch my way up onto this pile of rocks, and I am shooting every fucking arrow that I have into this boss arena that I'm not supposed to be able to target from here. You know,
nice.
Like soften up the boss before I walk in there and slay him with a couple of spells. Because that game like supports all kinds of weird cheesing, and the developers are like, whatever, dude, like if you can do it, it counts. So that game has a reputation for being mechanically very difficult, but I think what it really rewards is paying attention and memorizing details, and I'm really good at those 2 skills. So like I felt pretty good in there, but the thing that was really different to me, I had been playing Elder Scroll games, so like Morrowind, Oblivion.
Yep.
And this was exactly the same time that Skyrim came out. Like Skyrim and Dark Souls came out at the same time.
I was trying to think of Skyrim's name earlier today, and I was like, Elder Scrolls 5. It starts with an S, but am I just thinking of scrolls? I don't know. Anyways, thank you.
Skeet. Yeah.
Thank you is what I'm saying.
Skyrim, of course, one of the biggest games ever. I have never played it. Even though I was an Elder Scrolls fan, I just felt like I've played so much of these games and it looks exactly the same. And I want to try something different. And I heard about this Dark Souls thing and I was like, well, I'll give that a shot. And narratively, it is very, very different in a way that I think all games are trying to do this thing now of this indirect storytelling that Dark Souls really nailed. That like, you know, like the Elder Scrolls games are holding your fucking hand every second and being like, are you getting all this exposition? Are you like, go over here, here's a beacon, do this, do that, which is fine. Like, but there's absolutely no room for me, you know, the way that we've talked about, to craft any kind of idea or story for myself in that whole thing. I am just a conduit for somebody else's, like, it's like I'm an actor and the director says, just do it exactly the way I'm telling you to do it. I don't want your input, you know?
Right.
Dark Souls is not that at all.
That's so interesting. Because I feel like I've never played an Elder Scrolls game for the exact opposite reason.
Because it's off the rails.
Yeah.
It's very, very open in terms of like what you can do. But if you're doing a story thing, it's very, very on the rails. And if you deviate, the game punishes you really hard.
Bethesda only does first person, so I'm probably not going to play anyways. But because I don't like first person.
Well, that was the thing to get used to in Dark Souls because it is third person only. Yeah. So that was like a difficult adjustment. The combat's really hard. I don't know. The guy who made the thing said that he read Tolkien when he was a kid in like the Japanese translation of Tolkien. And he tried to read, like, he was taking English and he was trying to read English Tolkien. Yeah. He was like, I understand about 20% of this fucking book.
As a native English speaker, I was probably at 40% the first time I read it,
exactly.
You know?
Like, it's very confusing. But he said, I wanted to make, but for him, it was like very evocative for that reason, because he was like, I don't really get what's going on, but like something cool is happening, and it fired his imagination, and he kind of just made up his own, well, I guess Gandalf can do this and that, and like Frodo can turn invisible when he wants, you know, like he doesn't get what's going on. And he wanted to make a game where you had the same narrative agency, if that makes sense. Like, you don't ever really know what's going on in the Dark Souls world. No one does. And that's part of the story, is like time and place are melting. People from the past and the future are all crashing into each other. And like, you're meeting these people who are out of legend, and the people who are the inheritors of their legacy are like fighting each other, and you don't know why. And then there's like all of these gods from the past, but none of them have their power anymore. And they're just like husks, rotting husks of what they used to be. And like, why is it that way? What were their goals in the past? What are their goals now? There's a lot of evidence for it could be this, it could be that, but really you have to decide. And if you're interested in the story, what are the reasons that everybody is doing what they're doing? And so it leaves a lot of room for you to create the context and the whys in the story, if you care about that, which is what I cared about, in a way that like other games, they feel like they really, really have to make sure that you understand why things are happening in order for them to happen, if that makes sense. Because like, I think that a lot of the like get good bros don't care about any of that stuff. They just want the challenge of the game mechanically and to do it like the hardest possible with like the most difficulty possible. Right. And they don't care about the story very much. But I cared about the story a lot in terms of like I could make up the reasons why God did this and then the world fell apart and now my character is doing this because of that, and I'm aligned with this faction and I'm helping this character for that reason, and blah 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 blah. It has a lot of room for you to make up your own story.
Interesting. I've never played Dark Souls or any of the Souls-like games because of the get goodness.
It's a terrible community.
Yeah, I've just been like, no, I don't want to touch that. But I do think I would like them, which sucks. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, maybe I'll play Elden Ring.
It's I think Elden Ring is the most accessible version of that. And it's the open world one too.
I do like what you were just talking about, because I think that this is really important. The two main reasons I think that people like video games. You know, people are in it for the intricate gameplay, and sometimes people are in it for the storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's great when those two things come together. And I think a lot of these games that we're talking about are when those two things come together into a more or less perfect game. Perfect is a complicated word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. But it feels, different. It feels
where they
like,
feel
wow.
good and you're having a good time, like where everything is good. But there are a lot of games out there that I really like that have crappy gameplay, but I love the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Or vice versa, where there's no story, but I really love the gameplay, but I'm less into that one. But like that's a more recent thing, like, and I mostly do that in Sims game, like Stardew Valley.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Where there's almost no story in Stardew Valley, but the gameplay is relaxing and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Except for fishing. Fishing is a bitch. I just like that you brought up that dichotomy, I guess. Or whatever.
Yeah, it's just too bad that one part of the community is like, this is the thing about this, and if you don't like it, then
it really turns me off.
Yeah, it's
and also I get the impression, I could be wrong, that you get most of the story from reading like lore around, like and that's
you definitely need to do that.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate reading little pieces of paper that you pick up or a book over here or a thing like that. I don't know why. I love reading books. But in video games, I want people to, like, I don't mind reading dialogue. But picking up books and pieces and stuff, like, no, I don't. I hate that.
I think Elden Ring is the best of their games at fighting against that. So, I mean, the item descriptions are still there and they can be important, but you can glean a lot of the information through environmental storytelling and through the characters talking about their relationships to other characters and the bosses and stuff like that. So you can really understand a lot of what's going on just by paying attention. You still have to pay attention to the world, but you don't have to sit there and like it's in Dark Souls. It really feels like 3D chess where you're like, oh, this item and that item are talking about the same thing. Like you're putting together a puzzle.
Not my favorite way of storytelling. Although, I mean, Blueprints was kind of like that. It was all that, actually.
It's very much that, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. It kept me engaged. Maybe I've been wrong about myself the whole time. What I'm mostly actually thinking about is Dragon Age, where you pick up a codex entry and I just don't read it. And then a while later, I watch a YouTube video where somebody puts all the lore together. And I'm like, thanks.
Yeah. There's definitely like a YouTube community explaining Dark Souls that is handy if you don't want to read all that shit. Yeah.
For me, it's not even about the reading. I don't know what it is. I just feel like it's bad game design for the little pieces of writing that you find around the world to be the story, to be needed.
Mm-hmm.
Except in a game like Blueprints, where literally that is the whole point of the game.
I think it goes to what his goal was, and it's such a weird goal that he's not trying to tell you a particular story is the thing. He's just giving you, like, here's all the Lego bricks.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of contentious stuff in the YouTube community about, no, this is what happened. And then somebody else is like, no, look at the evidence. This is what happened. And the truth is, there's just not enough evidence one way or the other to prove anything in those games. It feels very much like reading actual academic history books where we're like, we think this is what happened when the Vikings invaded, but the truth is we don't fucking know because they tended to burn everything down. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, here's our best guess. And that is kind of how that world is. It's like in a fallen state where you can't really understand it. But it's on purpose because he wants you to have the freedom to tell your own story. He doesn't want to tell you a particular, he has an idea of what it is, but he doesn't want his idea to be your idea.
Interesting. This has intrigued me, I will say, more than anything else I've ever heard about Dark Souls. But also now that Souls-likes are like taking over,
Yeah.
like it turns me against them even more, which I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't hold against, the OGs, but
I'm with you. When they show like Gamescom and it's like it's a million Souls, like I'm like, okay, I'm not playing any of that.
yeah, I don't know. If I ever play them, I just won't tell anybody other than you.
Be like, oh no, I liked it.
I don't know. It'd be terrible after all these years of having a stand against them. Anyways, 2020s. Hopefully this will go faster because this decade's not over.
Yeah.
So hilariously, in my honorable mentions, I put Persona 5 Royal, even though I had Persona 5 in my 2010s honorable mentions. But Royal is so good. Like, there's a lot of extra stuff in Royal. It's great. I highly recommend the Persona 5. Persona 4 is also good, but it's getting a remake, so you may as well just wait for the remake at this point. But the original's good too, so I don't know.
Persona 3 remake just came out this past
Is it a remake?
year?
I don't know what's going on there because
I
everybody seems so excited that Persona 3 is going to be on Switch, but I literally already have it on my Switch.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know what the difference is.
I played a little bit of that. That's the only Persona game I've ever played.
Oh, you would love 5. 5 is so great.
I'm sure.
The first time I started up 5, one of the first things I did after like the cutscenes were done was get lost in the Tokyo public transit system. And I very clearly remember thinking, this feels a little too real.
Yeah.
And then like later on in the game, you have to study for your high school exams. And I just remember being like, what? Like, I am an adult. And then when the test comes up, I was like, no, I'm just looking up answers.
I should have studied.
I'm in my 30s. Yeah. Well, if you still have to like pick some stuff, like the studying does affect your grade, but then you as the player have to pick some right answers. And anytime that comes up, I'm just like, I am in my 30s. I don't need to have test anxiety anymore. I'm looking up the answers. I don't care.
That's funny.
Anyways, Persona 5 is great. It's a very long game, and it isn't open world in any way. The story is the story. It's very railroady. So you cannot play it short. You know what I mean? You can't really affect the time at all, other than very minimally. And I will say some of the romance options are super problematic, but...
Oh, that's interesting, though. Yeah, that's good.
Well, you can romance your teacher.
Nice. Yeah. The dream.
And the thing, I was so against that I didn't even, because you can choose not to, obviously, and just have like, but you have to upgrade your social links because that gets you stuff that helps you in the dungeons. It's a really well-designed game, but I was so upset about this whole teacher thing that I just ignored her for so long. But like, she has the best stuff that you unlock, like the best. So you have to do it. It's so stupid. Anyways, my favorite Persona 5 Royal memory, though, is that I was actually away for staying in a cabin the weekend that lockdown happened in 2020. And like we had shoddy internet where we were. So we understood that things were happening, but we didn't really know how bad it was. And at one point, my sister texted me and was like, Persona 5 Royal, I've pre-ordered it at this store. Pick it up if I die. And I was like, okay. Like, she was obviously exaggerating, but it was so funny, and that memory alone makes that game so great.
That's pretty good.
I put down Coral Island, which is basically Coral Island is made by an Indonesian studio. Studio? Is that what we call it? Developer?
Yeah, game studio.
Whatever. Okay. And it's basically Stardew Valley, but not pixel art, and more tropical looking.
Oh yeah, I've seen this before.
Yeah, it's very similar, but there is also like a cool underwater aspect to it, where you have to clean up the ocean, and there's like an oil spill, and there's this whole environmental side to it that's really cool. And I really, really, really just loved the gameplay of cleaning up the garbage under the water. I could do that for hours. I played the early access, and then when they had the 1.0 release, a lot of people were upset because they were like, you're going to lose your early access save and have to start over. But I was like, I get to clean up the ocean again. Great.
Great.
I was so excited. That's and for your save file, they just like determined what everything you owned was worth and gave you all that money starting your new file. So I had over $1 million gold dollars. I don't know what it's called in that game. So I didn't have to worry about money for a while. And I could clean everything up again, and it was so great. And you can romance a mermaid. Like, you can romance the humans too if you wanted, but there's mermaids.
Right, yeah. Why would you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, the humans are great. And I liked that there was a little bit more of a story to it, and like the evil corporation that you're trying to get out of your town is the ones that did the oil spill and everything, so I don't know. If you love Stardew Valley, give Coral Island a try. It's sadly not on the Switch. Hopefully it will be eventually. In the same vein, I put down Fields of Mystria. It is still in early access, and it's a similar sort of game to Stardew Valley and that sort of thing, except it has a very 90s anime look to it. And what's really great about it is the character writing. The characters in that game are so good. They all feel very distinct, and even though, again, there's no voice acting, it's just text, but they all have very unique voices, and the gameplay's a little bit different, and you can have a magical horse. It's great. I highly recommend that when it has, if you're into early access on PC, it's well worth it. Until you like hit where they've finished, where they're not, done with the game, it doesn't feel early access. I've not noticed any bugs really or anything like that, and it's a lot of fun. And then so after playing Animal Crossing to getting into the rest of what people these days call cozy gaming, my very first one after Animal Crossing was a game called Wildflowers, which is almost my ideal game. In it, you don't create a character, you are playing a girl named Tara who goes to this small town where she used to visit her grandmother when she was a kid, and she's going to stay with her grandmother because her grandmother's old and help run the farm. And while you're there, you find out that your grandma's a witch, and so are you, and something weird is going on in this town. So it's like a farm sim, but there's a story, and there's an ending. And,
that's cool.
There's good plot in it, and you got to figure out what's going on, and as you sort of discover more story, you discover new parts of the town to explore. And it's really good, and I highly recommend it. And there's been a bunch of updates since the first time it came out, so after the story's done, it's still fun to keep playing. It really wasn't at first, but it is now. And it's voice acted, which these games are never voice acted.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming up with a prequel that takes place 100-ish or so years before that, and I'm really excited for that game. And yeah, those are my... Oh, and Expedition 33. Sorry. I love that game. That's my last honorable mention.
Oh, yeah. I feel this is so recent. I'm like, dude, would I even mention it?
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Expedition 33 was probably the best RPG. Persona 4 Royal, but that I've played in the 2020s. New one. I can't even think of any other ones. I guess Final Fantasy 16.
Mm-hmm.
but I was kind of on 16.
I think it's a totally different kind of game, but I think the story in Clair Obscur is more compelling and interesting than what happened in 16.
I found it very difficult to connect to the characters and the plot, I guess, in 16. And the gameplay was fun, but I just didn't care. I'm glad that there was one woman around. That was great. A big improvement over 15, in which there was almost a woman, but then they killed her. And then there was like a woman who said hi one time. I don't know.
Woman. Yeah.
Well, she was also kind of
she's kind of a bad guy.
Yeah, whatever.
And Sid.
My beef with 15 is a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I loved Expedition 33 so much. It was great. The gameplay, great. So pretty. I really loved the choices that they made with where to cut corners and how to cut corners. Because you can tell that it's not a AAA or whatever game. Like, you can tell that it's an indie game, but they hit it very well, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, I think that's right. And they didn't they didn't make the side games super, like the platforming side stuff that you don't have to do. It's like very half-baked, but that's fine because I don't want you to spend your time doing that when you put your energy in the other thing.
Yeah, the two biggest for me are what's that, like that extra dungeon called, like the Endless Tower? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Except that you don't walk up the tower. You know, you just stay, and you can see where maybe the original idea was like Final Fantasy VIII, that optional dungeon where you're circling the stairs down and down and down forever. You can see where that was probably their original idea, but then they were like, that's gonna take forever, so you just sort of choose who you're gonna fight from a menu, and that's fine. It's side content, and we get the idea that they were going for.
Yeah.
So that works so well, and also the hair. Sometimes the hair looks great, and sometimes the hair looks real bad. You know, like so Clea good. In particular, where the physics on Clea's hair are oof. But also, that doesn't matter. Who cares? You know, like.
Yeah.
And I heard that they used like a free hair app. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the Unreal Engine. Yeah, the metahuman
they just used
stuff,
like a free hair add-on thing. I'm like, that's so smart, because they made it look as good as, like, it doesn't look out of place, except when Clea is walking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But also Verso's hair is amazing. Every time.
They
every time
they made the right choices where to save time and money, and I think that just goes to show that they're very smart and passionate. Anyways, I loved Expedition 33. There, I did my honorable mentions quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Expedition 33 is great. I had a lot of fun in these 5 years that we're talking about playing Disney Infinity, which is a game that you can't play anymore.
Yeah, okay.
I am a huge Disney nerd. I love Disney. All of the old stuff. I grew up on, like, I watched Pinocchio over and over and over. So like the really old stuff.
Right.
All the way up to the new stuff, the Pixar movies and everything else. And Disney Infinity was, that was at a point where they had acquired Marvel and Star Wars. And they were putting all of that stuff together with literal toys that you put onto a platform that would... you put the toy on the platform and then it appears in the game, and then you can use that character in the game. And they had, like, you could play through the Star Wars stories and stuff in a kind of like jokey version of them, a little bit like Star Wars Lego kind of thing, but also like all of the classic, Disney stuff, Beauty and the Beast, and the live action movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, and all of that kind of thing. So that was a lot of fun. My kids were like the right age for that. And we would, throw those toys on there, and you could play all together in the world. Like, it had 3 stations. And so it was me and the girls would sit there. They'd have, like, one kid had Tinkerbell all the time, and I would have Baymax.
That's cute.
Yeah. You could have like, I play the Incredible Hulk all the time because I love the Hulk. So it was just like a lot of fun as a family game. And you could also make your own games in there. And it had a really robust game making engine, and you could even write scripts and stuff and have like the characters come out and say things and all kinds of you could create whole things, and then you could play other people's games. So you could download other people's stuff that they put out there for free. So there was a really cool community built up around that whole thing.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then there was the Star Wars Dark Souls games that came out around this time that I think are pretty good. They're fun to play. Like the Star Wars Survivor is the latest one. I can't think of the one that's before that, but it's the same character.
Okay.
Part 1 and part 2, but basically it's like Dark Souls. Like you sit down at a meditation thing and it resets the world, like in Expedition 33 when you sit at the flag,
right?
And it resets everything, except it's Star Wars. So, and you have a double jump for some reason, but whatever.
I love a double jump, a big jump. Oh my god! One of the things that I always do when I mod a game is give myself a bigger jump. Why don't game developers always just give you the biggest jump?
It gives you way more capability. But I think the weird thing about that whole thing is that Disney, for whatever reason, really give a shit about everything that we make as canon. There is no like extended universe.
Right.
Every book counts. Every comic book is real, quote unquote, to the Star Wars saga. And so those games are somehow canon, but they have just all kinds of weird shit in them, like the double jump. That's like, am I supposed to? I don't care, but is like Yoda out there somewhere being like, double jump he can, like does he care that like some guy can jump in the air twice or something? So I don't know. I like those games though. I think the story's really good. I think they actually understand Star Wars as opposed to some other people who have been making Star Wars stories. So those games are a lot of fun. My biggest honorable mention goes to a very recent game. I think this came out maybe at the end of last year or the beginning of this year. Another fighting game. All of my top honorable mentions are fighting games. I love fighting games for the reason that I said. It's like a boss rush and it's quick. But it is Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, which was a group of games that I thought were lost to time. They would not be available to play anymore. They were arcade cabinets back in the early 2000s that I loved. You would go into an arcade and you could play as the comic book correct X-Men. Like they looked like they just came out of the comic books onto the screen with all of the like beautiful high frame rate pixel art of the Street Fighter series at that time, except you're like, playing Cyclops and Storm and Iceman and all of those characters from the comic books. And that was amazing. And then they made it even cooler by having them fight the Street Fighter characters. And then they made like a whole series of all of the Capcom characters versus all of the Marvel characters. So you pull in not only the X-Men, you got like Captain America, Doctor Doom, and all of these like, Iron Man and stuff like that. And then they're fighting against like Mega Man and Ryu and, just all over the Capcom, like Monster Hunter guy or like Dante from, that franchise, Devil May Cry and stuff. So it was just like, it was crazy. All of these characters, crossing up against each other. And those old arcade games with the Marvel characters were just gone. Like you couldn't, because of the rights situation, right? Because of Disney doing the acquisition and all of that stuff. They didn't want anybody to have these rights to come out with the game. But somehow Capcom figured it out and they released all of the games together. So it's like 5 different games that you can buy in one for like $20. So I've been playing the hell out of that all this year. I think the other night, just like 2 or 3 nights ago, I put up a high score of like 1.6 trillion points. My top score right now in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So,
my biggest question in all of this has been, what in the world is MVCFC? So thank you for answering that. When you started talking about a different game first, I was like, you got to tell me what MVCFC is.
What is this?
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yep.
All right, my number one game of 20 to 2025 is Animal Crossing New Horizons for 2 main reasons. One of them is, like everybody, it was my way of connection during 2020
and
2021. Yeah. All my friends were playing, well, not all my friends, but like a lot of my friends were playing, and I have a very vivid memory of the first time me and like my 2 best friends, my oldest friends from like, we've known each other for over 20 years. The first time the 3 of us were all playing together and we visited each other's islands, and the one of us who'd been playing the longest, we went over to her house and like sat on the couch and took a photo, and like that was how we connected in 2020, you know? And then eventually we had a whole Discord community of us who were playing together, and we would have like events, you know? We played hide and seek.
Oh, that's cool.
I built like a net fighting ring on my island where like if you were pushed out of bounds you would fall into a pitfall, and we had prizes and stuff, you know. And even just aside from that, during the day somebody would be like, hey, are people around to come water my flowers? Because that's a mechanic that would get you, it doesn't matter. Anyways, that was the thing. We would all go, and if there was 5 of us, we would just go around to everybody's islands and water their flowers.
Yeah.
And it would take like an hour because boy, that airport. And yeah, it was a whole big thing in 2020, as I'm sure most people listening remember. And it is also what got me into sim games, like cozy games, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge. And then in 2021, there was the huge 2.0 update that happened in November, at the beginning of November. And that was a couple days after I spent the night in the emergency room because one of my eyeballs wasn't working properly and I couldn't see right.
Oh, right, yeah.
So basically, I then had 3 months off work and this brand new Animal Crossing, like, huge update. And my life was real bad because I couldn't leave the house by myself. And then, you know, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which sucks. And then, so all I was doing was developing an unhealthy obsession with Taylor Swift and playing Animal Crossing for 3 months. And those 2 things kept me, I don't know about sane, actually.
Yeah.
But, you know, they kept me going. And I saw Taylor Swift in concert last year. And maybe one day we'll get a new Animal Crossing game. And those 2 things are, like, keeping me going.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah. So that's why Animal Crossing is such a big deal to me.
Yeah, my youngest daughter wanted a Switch for Animal Crossing.
Makes sense.
She loves it. She plays it all the time.
Yeah.
She loves it.
Every day for me is an effort to not start an island on my Switch too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have so many games I want to play. I cannot do this right now. I don't.
So you can play the old one on there?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
And it's why we have individual Switches in our household, because for years my sister and I were good to just share a Switch.
Yeah.
But you can't have individual islands under the different accounts on one Switch. You have to share an island, and we would have murdered each other. Well, I probably would have killed her because I'm the more violent one. You know, if we were like affecting each other's island that way. So I got my own Switch.
Yeah, the weird hardware limitations on the Switch are interesting to me, but I guess it helps them to sell more units, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I'm. It's not that they couldn't have had you have your own individual islands and save files. It's that Nintendo wanted to sell more Switches.
Yeah, yeah,
right? Like that was shady, but Nintendo is super shady and they get away with it. So
yeah. Well, that's all they do is make games. So I always give them leeway of like they're not like Microsoft where it's like actually we control the world, or like Sony where actually we make stereo shit.
that's fair. I do forget that PlayStation is owned by Sony and that
Yeah.
Sony does more than, or I guess what I forget
Way
is that
more.
Sony
It's
does
like the
more than
smallest part.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're barely a game company at all.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is crazy because they're, PlayStation is amazing. Yeah, cool. I think that is the kind of the game probably of the last 5 years for a lot of people anyway. So
yeah, for a lot of people. And people
Cool.
are still playing it. I know sometimes I watch like YouTube people start Animal Crossing for the first time because it fixes the itch in me to start a new island. If that makes any sense. And I've seen people say that like those are the videos that get the most views when they do Animal Crossing for the first time. So it's still huge. There's still a big community out there who cares about Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Yeah, my game is like way more obscure. It's just a little indie game called Tunic that I don't know how to describe. It's like a Zelda game, kind of like the old Zelda game, A Link to the Past. Which is like a 2.5D perspective, isometric, I think that's called. And you play as a little fox guy in a cute little fox guy in a world full of ruins, and you go out there and there's like a kind of Triforce situation that you have to collect.
I just looked
3
him up.
parts
He's
of it,
so
and
cute. Oh my god.
he's very, very cute. There's a Dark Souls kind of mechanic to it where there's all these resting places that look like a fox shrine, and you light it and then sit down and the world resets and all the monsters come back, and there's dungeons to explore and all that stuff, which would all be fine and cool on its own. But I think the thing to me that was really fascinating from a gameplay perspective, so I played the original Legend of Zelda, which this references pretty hard, and
I can see that just from the picture of the fox on the cover.
Yeah, like he looks like so in the original Legend of Zelda, it had this instruction manual, which was an incredible instruction manual full of art that was extremely evocative of the world, because I mean, like, it was the Nintendo. Like, as good as that game looks, whatever, it's a bunch of like fuzzy Lego bricks basically. It just didn't have much of an aesthetic to it at that time. And I promise this is going somewhere, but the manual to The Legend of Zelda had all of these amazing kind of cartoon-esque, very cute scenes of Link, while it's also telling you about the game mechanics and the world and some of the backstory and the lore of what, who is Ganon, who is Zelda, who is Link, and all of this stuff, and also pictures of the monsters. And it did a lot to like fill out the imaginary space of the adventure that you're on, because that game is extremely like, you can go anywhere right away. Like, it's very hands off. Like, you can just go explore. You can go to the quote unquote wrong places. You can go to like end dungeons right away, if you want to. But you will have a very hard time and probably die because you don't have the tools that you need in order to do it. In Tunic, scattered around the world are pieces of the Tunic game manual that you collect.
Interesting.
And they are very, very inspired by that Zelda game manual. Like, the art looks a lot like it, and it tells the whole thing. Well, not the whole thing, but a lot of it is written in the in-universe alphabet of the Tunic world. So you don't know what it's saying. Like, it's telling you information, but you literally cannot decode it. And then also written in the margins is as if when you were a kid, you would write stuff down on the manual pages and be like, oh, there's like over here, there's a treasure chest with this many bombs or whatever, like you would write notes to yourself. And that's written on some of these pages. And what it does is kind of teach you that there's more to the mechanics than just the adventure style Legend of Zelda, Dark Souls fighting stuff. And that actually the game, you could play this game and never fight anything and successfully complete it if you have the knowledge. And what the game is really about is knowledge and learning. And the ending of the game, there's two endings, and I think the ending that you naturally come to the first time that you get to it is devastating, and like really emotionally gut punching and disappointing and kind of like rug pulling, and like you're a bad person, like is how I felt when I beat it. And I was like, what did I do? Like, what did I do? Why did the game just like slap me in the face? I don't understand. But when you beat it, then you have the ability to like go get more of these pages. And once you complete the entire manual and you start to be able to read the language and stuff, you realize that like the actual choices that you have in the game have nothing to do with, like, basically the game boils down to you have a choice between violence or knowledge. And when you choose knowledge, then the world is a better place.
Oh, that's cool.
And so the entire game is about learning, and the reward for learning is a better world, which is just an incredible thing. Like, that's very easy to say to somebody and be like, yeah, I get that. But the game made you feel that and experience it and earn it in a lot of ways. So, and it's just riddled with secrets and uncovering stuff and like figuring out puzzles, and you just feel like really smart, like a downhill. You'd be like, well, I wonder if this thing is going on, and the answer is yes, that thing is going on, over and over and over and over in that game. And it was just an amazing experience, and just changed what I think is possible in games. Like they can, it's games within games within games in a way that
that's
I just haven't seen other people make.
It sounds a lot like Undertale, or at least what I've heard about Undertale. I haven't played Undertale, but like a lot of people have had that same, that on the surface Undertale feels like a typical game, but the more you treat it like it's real instead of like a game, the more, you know what, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I've heard that too. I've looked up like, what do I play now that I've played Tunic? What do I play? And Undertale is one that comes up a lot.
Yeah. Well, those are our favorite games of the past. Hopefully this gives like a good idea of the type of people who would want to listen to us talk about video games going forward.
And that obviously, like, we're very aligned. We both love fighting games. We both love Dark Souls. I think it's good that we're into different stuff. We do have like a lot of crossover in certain ways, but
Final Fantasy. That's our crossover.
That's our main crossover.
Yeah. But no, it's good because we have two different perspectives. If we just agreed about everything, that would be boring.
Yeah.
Fighting games, though, I never would have thought. Ugh. I've only ever been forced to play them. All right. So if you want to tell us your thoughts on some of the games we mentioned, or tell us how wrong we were, or that the fact that I love open worlds but don't like Elder Scrolls doesn't make any sense. I know. Don't worry.
In first person.
I know.
That's the problem.
Well, it's not just that. I've played, I can get over first person if I really want to. I just don't like Bethesda games. I just don't.
It's janky as hell. That's kind of what I like about it, is how busted it is in some ways, but
I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I played some hours of Fallout 4 and it was ugly and boring, and I don't know why I played it for so long. Anyways, that's how I feel about most Bethesda games. It's all gray, and they don't do enough job. They don't do a good enough job to make me care. Anyways, if you want to tell me how wrong I am, you can do so on Blue Sky at Inferior Caitlin, or you can reach out to both of us at Inferior Gaming. That's that. Yeah. On Blue Sky. Both are on Blue Sky. We don't do Twitter anymore. I refuse to call it the other name.
The thing that it is.
Yeah.
You can send emails to inferiorgamingpod@gmail.com, or you can go to the hollowgroundmedia.com website where all of the podcasts that we do are there, and scroll down to the bottom and fill out the contact page.
And remember that the 1994 Street Fighter game is a work of art.
Right. Terrible game.